Hi, welcome to this video, which is from Shamkir. We're going to look at some games from the Kasimov Memorial in Shamkir. And today there was only one decisive game, and it was Anish Giri against David Navarra. Anish Giri the Dutch number one, and David Navarra the Czech number one. With his win, Anish moves to +1. Which places him in second place with Magnus, trailing only Veselin Topalov, who's half a point ahead. But let's have a look at this game. E4, C6. So Caro-Kann by Navarra. He also played this against Magnus Carlsen earlier in the tournament and drew fairly comfortably. Also in this variation, if I recall correctly. Bishop to F5. And Giri plays the so-called short variation. E6 and Bishop E2. And it's quite funny that originally Short played this to avoid theory, but as often happens, people start picking it up, and now everybody's playing it, and it's more or less the main line in the advanced variation. C5 now by Black. He wants to get a French type position, put this knight on C6. Bishop to E3. Queen B6, hitting the B2 pawn, obviously. And well, white doesn't defend it. Move like B3 is inefficient. Queen C1 you don't really want to play, so a nice and aggressive move here is knight to C3, which Anish played. The knight C6 was played now by Navarra, but queen takes B2 has been scoring quite well for white. You can play knight B5 here, and I also remember an old famous game by Viktor Bologan with white, where he came up with a very new and interesting concept. He took on B7 here, knight B5, and after rook B8 he played king D2. The idea is to activate the rook, and after A6 he trapped his own knight into enemy territory, but the initiative is very good for white and he won a very nice game. Quite a famous game at the time. Knight B5 after queen takes B2, knight B5 is also quite strong, it seems. Knight C7 is coming, and knight A6 is probably what you play here, but now D takes C5 is very strong. And bishop takes queen C1, take. After Mulak here we have knight D6 or C6 is scoring quite well. White is winning almost every game in this line. So Black usually doesn't take, and neither did Navarra. He played knight to C6, knight to A4, protecting the pawn, and after queen A5 check, you have to defend the check and the knight, so C3 to defend the knight. Black takes on D4. Knight takes, you can't take with the pawn, of course. And this is not a healthy pawn. Okay, there are several moves here that look good for white. And this seems to be enough for a position edge for white. Bishop pair, damage structure, need and development. So Navarra took on D4, but now bishop takes D4. Knight D7, this knight is coming to C6, hitting the bishop on D4. Castles, also possible was B4, but castles is fine. Knight C6. And note that, okay, going back, the knight on the rim is dim, as I was saying, and Black can't take advantage of the knight with B5, because when you play B5 you give the knight a square on C5, so the knight can't be trapped. Knight C6 and B4, hitting the queen, which retreats. Okay, this pawn is under attack, but white doesn't care. He plays rook to C1. So what happens if, again, Black takes the seemingly poisonous pawn? Well, we take, and the king will be stuck in the center of the board, which is not ideal. White also gets some tempo moves like rook E1, and everything is lined up here. This is not the position you want to defend, and I don't think Black probably didn't consider this for long, and played bishop to E7. And now Geary got aggressive here with g4, pushing back the bishop. And okay, bishop e4 first, but doesn't matter. If bishop g6, then we will play f4, but with bishop e4 we play f3 first, and only now f4, and we're threatening to simply win the bishop with pawn to f5 as the bishop on e2 is covering h5. So a pretty large threat, and bishop e4 prevents it. But now knight to c5. Feels like things are getting a bit difficult for black. White has a very comfortable edge. It's not decisive or anything, but it looks very good for white. I mean, he has a space advantage, and it looks like everything is more or less under control here. And he's just controlling the board with his space. a5, Navarra is trying to get some counterplay. Bishop to e3. Black takes on b4. But okay, once again, this is poisoned because knight takes e4, opening up a discovery on the queen. And also note that rook takes a2 can't be played here or later because of similar ideas. Knight takes e4 and b5, utilizing the pin. Navarra played rook to a3. Bishop is attacked, so it moves. Bishop to f2. And now black takes on c5. Already I think the position is much worse than the engines would suggest. It's very hard to suggest a good move. I mean, bishop takes. Now you can't castle. King is stuck in the center. And white has the bishop here. It's not looking good. Rook takes a2, b5. And now the moment everybody's talking about. Navarra should have played knight a5. When, yeah, white still stands, don't want to say substantially, but I think much better. A move like b6, queen c6. We have the bishop here, very nice dark squared bishop. King can't castle. Okay, white is down a pawn, but the control of the position is just almost complete. Having said that, you have to find the plan to go forward, but even like a move like rook f2, we're already threatening bishop b5, winning the exchange, and it seems fairly difficult for black here. But what happened, no one could have predicted. Navarra played bishop c2. Now what madness is this? It is madness, it's true. But it was an oversight. What happened was, Navarra thought, he just overlooked the move. He thought, okay, if rook takes, I can just take. Queen takes, and I'll play knight d4, utilizing the pin. The queen can't control both this guy and what happened to my board. Here it is. Can't control this guy and this guy. So what happens here is that black is going to regain the piece. Let's say queen d3, queen takes c5, and black is actually up a pawn. So the tables will turn completely here. What Navarra, however, overlooked was that the rook takes c2. Rook takes c2. White can flick in the move b6. And yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, one more thing. Rook takes e2, rook takes e2, queen takes e2. He might have seen, after this, queen takes e2, knight d4. He might have seen b6 here. But even this works. Okay, b6, queen c6. And you might have thought, still okay, these two are attacked. It's okay. But even here, it's not working because white has the very strong move, bishop to b5. Now queen takes, we take on d4. And knight takes. Well, the problem is this knight is just stuck on b5. Rook c1. and white has a very simple plan of just moving the queen and attacking the knight at some point. Some discoveries with the bishop, and the problem is both this knight is stuck and the king is stuck in the center. So let's say something like king d7, queen f2, and after okay, let's try something h5, bishop to e3. Okay, now your queen is even stuck, but you're trying to defend the knight, but you can't. Bishop to d2, and this drops off the board. So it looks like he overlooked b6, both in this line. Queen takes knight d4 and b6. Maybe he thought this was okay. It's possible, but then he overlooked bishop b5. But the main problem is after bishop c2, white can play b6 immediately. And the problem here is that in the other line he thought maybe knight d4, the queen comes to c6, but now if the queen goes to c8, which I think it did, no, it took on d1. Yeah, now the problem is if you go to c8, now I takes, knight d4, and now the queen isn't on c6 like in the variation before, and now we have queen a4 check, and white is simply up a piece. You can go here, or yeah, I'll lose my more tail. So yeah, but this is just a clear piece for white, so game over. But yeah, b6 and just a lost piece. Navarro took on d1, pawn takes, threatening to queen, so king d7, and now just recovering the piece on d1. One check against the jack, and then rook to b1, attacking b7. Clear piece for white, bishop here. Navarro didn't need to see more and resigned. So a very strange blunder. Looks like he overlooked b6 in 2 lines and bishop b5 then in another one. Maybe just a quick look. Do we have a time situation when he played bishop c2? No, not on this one. Okay. But yeah, very strange blunder. He was just trying to get a bit too much, a bit too fancy there, and it completely backfired. But okay. Overall, a very solid game by Navarro, by Giri. We should mention one thing though. After rook takes a2, Giri did have a strong move here in rook a1. After rook takes, queen takes. Again, similar problems as in other lines. White has the bishop here, and this king is stuck in the center. Definitely a choice, but what Giri played was fine, b5, and it did induce this blunder, so can't be too bad, eh? So yeah, that's the only win from round 6, and hopefully some good games by Magnus coming up that we can look at, and see you then. Bye bye.